Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Deep Dive Haunts. This is episode 14. Um, we are talking about McPike Mansion tonight. We literally just did this investigation on the 28th of March. Hopefully, Tanya pops in here pretty soon. But hello out there. You guys come on in, say hi in the comments. Um, and we will get started here in a moment, see if some people pop in. Um, Couple of things coming up this Saturday. We are at Aurora Brothel Part 2. We're going back for a second investigation. It is going to be a great experience again. We got some new things lined up that we want to do this time. Don't worry, Myra. It's worthy.
Mhm.
It's not going to be anything wacky or nothing, but we just have some new things that we want to do this time. Um, and start doing it going forward with our investigations for when we put out videos and stuff like that. Friday night at 7 o'clock, our first investigation from Aurora Brothel from October 18th, 2025 will be dropping. It will go out for you guys to watch and check out her establishment and see how much interaction we had from that. Um, which, when I was posting it out there, kind of confused her today. She's like, I don't have you down for Friday. And I'm like, no, the video is dropping Friday. So,
Gotcha.
video from our first investigation will drop this Friday, April 10th, 7 o'clock on YouTube. So, make sure that you guys um, go on there and watch that. We have a lot of other podcast episodes and other videos on there as well. Um, and then again, like I said, Saturday we will be down there for part 2. Hello, Coven After Dark. Thanks so much for joining. We were just chatting a few seconds ago. They're actually 40 minutes from McPike. And she said that they need to check it out. And I'm like, you definitely need to go because
Right.
it's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So then Sunday night, after we get back on Sunday afternoon, but Sunday night, we have Kate with the Spirits of Marco on the podcast, Deep Dive Podcast. She's our first location of the series. It'll be great to learn more about the Spirits of Marco location, where she's located, the history behind it, the claims, and all that stuff. So make sure you guys are tuning into that. It will be at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. So it's an hour earlier than what we're used to, only because she's East Coast. Um, Really, she's not that far away. She's over in Indiana, but it is across the line of the time zone. So, um, any other things we need to hit on before we start talking about McPike, about upcoming things?
Well, that on Friday night, I got that. I did go in and cut that scream out that you and I heard upstairs.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
send it.
Okay.
I'll send that to you.
Yeah, we can actually, we can put that, I'll get it to Myra, but we can also put that as a YouTube short
Right.
out there on our YouTube channel. So then that's just a short little snippet, get people interested in our content and stuff like that. But anyway, that is what we do have upcoming. Coven After Dark is watching us from YouTube. Thank you so much. Anyway, feel free to ask questions throughout the um, podcast. We love talking about these, and I'm excited that we aren't waiting months to do this because it's all still fresh in our head, which is really really super nice. So, all right,
Mhm.
at Top Lookout Park, which is the highest point in Alton, stands the McPike House, and it has not been occupied since the 1950s. It was originally built in 1869 by Lucas Pfeifenberger. The original owner of the mansion was Henry Guest McPike. The McPike family owned 15 acres of land, then known as Mount Lookout Park. Here, McPike, a horticulturist, perfected his McPike grape. Sharon said that that grape is still available today. Wasn't that right? It's still out
I
there on
think
the market
I think
today.
she said so. Yeah.
The family
Yeah.
lived in their country home until 1936. The house changed
Mhm.
hands several times since the original owner. It had been home to Brown's Business College and later owned by Paul Lakinger, who rented rooms in the house to occupants. Again, since it's not been occupied since the 50s, weather and vandals have done extensive damage to the structure. Um, but it is a historic landmark. They are restoring it. They are in the process of getting a new roof put on as we speak, and it's just beautiful. And when she gets it back to where she wants it, it's just going to be amazing. The mansion featured 11 marble fireplaces, beautifully carved stairway banisters, which are still in there. Um,
Mhm.
Oh, all of which have been stolen. Okay, so I guess the banisters that are in there or not, but they're really pretty anyway. Intricate carved trim still bordered the ceiling in one of the front rooms. It is beautiful. It kind of has a grapevine design. Um, it is not, and this is a claim that Sharon will tell you on your tour. She will tell you till she turns blue in the face that it is not uncommon to find photos of the mansion with orbs, ball of lights, and even figures appearing in the windows. I do have two different pictures from different times investigating where you can actually see faces in the windows. One is on the second floor. The one we just got was on the second floor. The first one is from the third floor arch window. No way a face could be on there. But they do like to be seen from the windows. So she highly recommends taking figures or pictures because you just never know when things are going to show up. Um, the grand old house is the is thought to still house many of the spirits that once lived there. Many spike Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. I apologize. Many psychics and mediums have felt the presence of what they believe to be the McPike family servants, and as well as some of those who resided in and owned the house since 1936. The cellar is a big focal point of many energies felt in the mansion. And that is not even a lie. I did post some different videos out today, last night and today. We will actually go through those as well. They're short clips um, of stuff that, um, like a shadow that we caught in the cellar, that Misty actually caught on her camera in the cellar, and some knocks and bangs and stuff like that. So we have a lot to share with you guys tonight, and we're super excited. Dark Tours is here. Hello. Welcome
Okay.
I
in. But anyway, let's talk about when I honestly don't even know what happened to Tanya. But anyway, we'll talk about when we first um, arrived at McPike. We stopped there before we even went to the hotel. Got out, took a few pictures. I'll let Misty talk about her experience. I will see if I can get Tanya on the live so she can talk about her experience, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. So take it away, Misty.
All right. Well, the first time we went there, of course, I had a totally different experience. I was giddy and was channeling my first time, and I had a very childlike spirit channeling with me that time. This time we come up on the property, and before we even pull in, I said, I just felt like somebody said F you. Like somebody was really not happy that I was there. And I was like, what did I do wrong? We pull up onto the property, get out and look around, and everybody else is going along the lawn and checking out and trying to get a feel for the property, get some pictures, see what's going on, possibly try to find the crypts that are out there. So they're going about, I didn't even want to walk on to the property. I kind of was just kind of standoffish just from the feel of it. It wasn't anything real negative. It was just hold up, you're in trouble. Don't be here. So I stayed back for a little bit and took a couple of pictures from further away. I honestly think it wasn't like a overall shift in the property, but just us being there kind of felt like something was kind of mad at us, and I didn't understand why. But I think later on we kind of get a little bit of a feel as to why. But Tanya actually has a little bit of explanation of what was going on, because should I go ahead and say, she said something to the effect of that she had a visit, and that visitor told her things had shifted there, and it was going to be a different experience for us.
Yep.
And it really truly was.
Yep, that did actually happen. She had a dream. I messaged her. I know she's working. Hopefully she can pop on, but she had a dream. Somebody came to her in the dream and told her the energy had shifted. And I know when we got there, she wandered off onto the property. And she ended up hitting an area between a log and a tree, and she got really disoriented. It started like she just had this sensation about her where she was just kind of like, ooh, like, do I stay here or do I move? Mm-hmm. And of course, Kathy and I were just taking pictures of the front of the mansion and not really paying attention to much. I don't know. Was there any specific thing you were feeling, Tim?
So the place is pretty awesome. I mean, walking up to it for the first time, the mansion itself is, for the age of the mansion and what it is, it's really a pretty fascinating place. So I was out taking pictures as well, trying to get a feel for what the property was, and I was drawn to the woods. The woods was actually like something was calling to me or telling me to go out in the woods and take a look at what's behind her. Now take notice that behind the building, it's a big steep hill and it's all wooded out there. You can't even walk through it. There's a few paths, but you can't go very far. Mm-hmm. So to me, I was drawn to more of the land at first when I first got there. The land itself was interesting. We found tombstones. We found some broken monuments in the backyard, stuff like that. So my draw and my attention was to the back of the house in the wooded area. So I'm not sure why. I mean, we did go down there later, so we'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit. But that's what I felt was the woods. And I did take a lot of pictures of the windows because I know the claim that there's a lot of faces in the windows. So I tried to capture what I could by taking as many pictures of the windows outside that I could, as consecutively as often. I didn't really get anything in the windows, but doesn't mean it wasn't there. But then when the owner showed us all the pictures of the windows, it was really cool because now you want to take more pictures of the windows to do it. So, but the wood was my big draw. That was where my attention was going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's hard taking pictures of windows at locations because you can get reflections off of trees, windows being dirty, this and that and the other. So, sometimes you just don't want to take pictures of the windows, but you definitely want to at McPike. You definitely want to. Every single window that you can get a picture of, take a picture because you never know when something is going to pop up. All right. Warren Area Society of Paranormal is watching from YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. Hello. Cheryl's here. Hello.
Hello.
Myra from Rockville. Hello.
Hi.
Myra.
And then David Alcorns. Hello from Clearwater Beach. 727 Paranormal Live. Thank you guys so much for joining. Yeah. So I don't know. I was not going to share this, but since we're talking about it, maybe I will. Oh my gosh, come on. You guys can come up with your own conclusions. Oh, okay. Guess not. I guess I'm not. Never mind. I was going to show you a picture that I took of the window, but I'll post it out on the page later because I don't have it saved over on my laptop. But it's definitely it's definitely some crazy stuff that happens.
Mhm.
Okay. So we had walked around the property a little bit. Sharon ended up coming over and talking to us. Us girls had had a tour because we had been there before, but Tim had not. Um, McPike was Paranormal Girl's very first investigation ever. Um, so that in itself was a crazy. Um, so we had already had it, but Tim, they were going through the. She was going through the pictures and the history and stuff with Tim. And while we are sitting there going through the pictures and re-looking at them and everything, she Sharon looks over at Tanya and she's like, "Are you okay?" And you look over and Tanya's like holding her face. She said something had just went up to her and was like, "Boom!" Like, and then started hitting her in the back of the neck.
Correct.
We actually, she got up and left. Like she went outside, and so I got up and I went outside with her, and she's like, it like coming outside didn't even stop. Like it's still pushing and it hurts. And so I took out our smudging spray and I smudged her and it finally broke. I really wish she was on here to be talking about her own experiences, but um, it's just it was crazy how it happened. Um, I'm going to let Tim talk about what happened to him while we were sitting in the tour. Um, and then anybody else while we were in the tour, I was outside with Tanya, so I don't know if you guys had other things that happened, but I will let them talk about that in just 1 second. Dave says, "Love the paranormal content. We are awesome. Thank you so much for that."
Okay.
And then Warren, they have to go because they got to be to work. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, go ahead, Tim.
Well, I was sitting there, and the lady she was handing me pictures so I could see what the history of the place and pictures they caught of faces in the windows and so forth, which is actually pretty fascinating. Some of the pictures are really you can't disprove that these are not pictures of faces in the windows. They're really quite intriguing and awesome, actually. When I was sitting there, I heard a noise, and I thought it was somebody had slid a chair. And so I got it. So I looked up around the room, and nobody was moving. But I looked over at Tanya. She was actually holding her face. She was holding her eye on this side up in her face. And I looked at her. She had a real concerned look on her face. And I looked at her. "Are you okay?" She said, "Yeah, I'm okay." Well, what I realized, what I heard was a growl behind me in the chair in the room we was at. So I heard this growl. I looked over at Tanya, and she's actually, you can see that she's hurt. You can see she's holding her eye. So she
Yeah.
got in. I mean, it was painful for her to get through that point. So I was trying to look around the room to see if somebody else or whatever. And Tanya was the only one that seemed to be affected at the time. And so she did get up and leave. She was really concerned. It really got to really bothered her. And Brenda went out and helped her, like I said. But so I heard a growl. I mean, I thought it was a chair sliding, but it had to be a growl behind me. At the same time, Tanya was getting poked in the face. So we tried to figure out who was growling and who was poking Tanya in the face. So we went on through the night. We think we figured it out. We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Either one of you two ladies have anything go on while Tanya and I were outside, or was it pretty mellow for you?
That's pretty mellow for me. I mean, I felt her respond because she was sitting right behind me. And when I turned, I was like, her face was around her eyes. She was red. The one I was watering, and she was in pain. And I was like, oh my gosh, and she was like, something just, stuck, hit me in the eye with their finger. And then she was like, they're stabbing at my neck too. And it was painful.
We should also mention Tanya had on glasses at the time
She did.
Mhm.
when that was happening. Yeah, she
Yeah.
had her glasses on. So.
You could see the concerned look on her face, though. She was definitely in a lot of pain. She was
Yeah.
hurting. It was hurting her.
She just couldn't imagine. She was like, why would they do this? Why would something here do this? And I think it was like a shock factor because when we were there the first time, the feeling there was so different. It felt like home. It felt like a family, and the one spirit that was with Misty all night, they were having a good time and it was happy, and it just, the whole atmosphere felt totally different, and you just didn't know what we were going to expect this time.
Sure.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for that. We appreciate you. Spooky Bros in the house. Boom.
Hello.
Hello.
Bro.
That was a great podcast, guys. If you haven't watched it, you need to go check it out.
That was a blast.
Yeah. So anyway, squirrel.
Yeah.
Got me. So fast forward a little bit, we will start our night. We decided that we were going to try a brand new experiment for us. I think Tim had done it somewhere along his many years of ghost hunting. But for us girls, it was a first. And what it is, okay. Tim, you go for it. You explain it, because
So there's a thing. So imagine a property being as old as McPike is, or any other property you may be at that's built in the 1850s, 1820s, 1800s, 1899, whatever it be. So trees outside live to be 100 years old. So these trees are on the property the whole time. So out in front of the house are 3 trees, and you can tell by looking at them, they've been there for 100 years or more. I mean, they're huge trees. You can tell by the look of them. So the idea is that it is a witness tree, and to witness everything that could ever or be happen on the property, be it a death, be it a child, be it an event, be it a wedding, whatever this may be it Native American, be whatever, crossed in front of this tree over time. So the theory is, if it's a witness tree, the energy is still in that tree. It still holds because it's alive. The tree is alive. It holds the energy of what could have happened in 150 years. So the theory is, can you draw the energy from that tree and actually get a response from the supernatural, paranormal, of that energy still existing outside of that tree or near that tree? So it's an experiment to do, and you use a pendulum to do it, and you try to figure out if you can draw the energy from it. It hasn't been done very often. I've seen it done, but I've done it a couple of times in the past, and I thought, why not give this a try? Because McPike has a lot of age to it. So my theory was, let's see what happens. Let's do this witness tree thing and see what we can prove or disprove, or if we can find anything at all. And so Misty is really good at this stuff. She's way better at it than I am, because I'm not really the psychic that she is, by no means. So Misty, she was doing it, and when we do it in the future, I think we need to do the experiment. We'll try to do as Misty says. We'll do the northeast, south, and west, and try to gather more energy from it to see if that works a lot better. So those are things, and she knew about doing that, which is a big help. So you get by the tree, you get your pendulum out, you have a little board, you try to get yes or no answers out of it. So the theory is, and the experiment is, did this tree hold energy that happened on this property for 150 years? It may hold our energy, but we must do that session right outside the tree. I don't know. That's part of the process or theory of trying to get this to work. And so, to tell you the truth, it was successful. So I'll let Misty, Kathy, Brenda talk about what they experienced and the questions they asked and the answers they got. So, hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
you're muted.
So go ahead, Misty. Tell us about what you experienced with this tree.
All right. So honestly, I kind of felt the energy of the tree, and especially, I mean, you can just tell it was a tree that was well loved. It was in the middle of the yard. So it was probably the tree that they planted as a family. I'm not really sure about that, but it could have been. All I know is that there was a rope on it. It felt like there was probably children that played on it. So of course it's going to be a tree that's going to be bound to some kind of emotion of the land that it's on and the people that was around it. So we started out there and started asking questions. And I'll tell you what, getting it set up was a little bit hard because you have to do it on the side where it's not windy. So we tried to go on the side that wasn't windy. And then my pendulum broke. And I was like, great. And I asked everybody else who has a pendulum, and every hand shot out with a pendulum. And Kathy gave me hers. Honestly, I'm not really remembering exactly all the questions we asked it, but it did move. It did give us yes and no questions. We did later have other people do it, and it wouldn't move. So it makes you wonder, because it did answer for some people, but it didn't answer for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. So Misty was the one that got the most reaction, the biggest swing for like yes and no out of it. Kathy did a little bit, which she can talk about what she did. And then
Yeah.
Tim, I'll let Tim talk about when he did it. But yeah, three of us actually, three of them did that this time. Dave said it sounds very cool.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to know. I have a tree 100 years old on the side of my house. Yeah. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
nope. Go ahead, Kathy. I'm done.
Okay. Oh, I was just gonna say the little bit that I did. The tree, you can definitely feel that children played around it. I think there's a remnants of an old swing kind of up in the branches. It's just a really cool tree, and you feel really positive vibes from it. I didn't get a lot answered, but I was trying to talk to Mr. McPike, and I did ask if he had horses on that land, and it was no. I did ask, if he grew grapes, and it was yes. So that, was true. But I wasn't quite sure. I thought he was mayor of that city at one time, but it didn't come out. It was kind of like yes, no. So it was kind of like, maybe it wasn't a straightforward answer. So I don't know why I couldn't get a straightforward answer on that one, but that's pretty much all I could get. I mean, it was kind of, the wind was blowing too, and it was, yeah, it was hard to bend down to that tree.
Yeah.
Oh, but I got a little bit out of it.
Sure.
Mhm.
And so when I did it, my question was there any Native Americans on the land? It did swing once for me when I asked that question, a swing and a yes. I did get that, but the other time I was holding on to it and the pendulum would just, the chain above the pendulum was twitching a lot. Right above the
Mhm.
pendulum twitched quite a bit at that time. So I didn't get a lot of answers out of it. I mean, Native American wise, yes, I got it to swing one time and answer that question. So that's interesting, but this theory is an interesting one because anything living can hold energy. We talk about limestone, we talk about gems, we talk about bricks and mortar and, things holding energy. So why not a living tree? I mean, if you think about the theory of it, it's actually kind of unique and it probably would, I don't know why it wouldn't work. So that's why I suggested it, because I'd done it in the past and got responses out of things. So that was my suggestion. I will add this a little bit to the history. I won't get too carried away. But Henry Guest McPike was actually a confidant and a political alliance of President Abraham Lincoln. And so he was there the night that Lincoln was inaugurated as or elected president. He was there. He helped write the proposal, the dispute between him and his running mate and the person he was running against. So he was
Mhm.
in part of it. So let's take into notice: was there civil war on this land? Or could President Lincoln actually walk across that front yard right past that tree? That's an
Yeah.
interesting theory. Could it have happened? I mean, to me, I'm a big Civil War buff, so that to me that would be fascinating to talk to Abraham Lincoln. I think that would be. I'd probably buy the house and live there if that happened. But anyway, so
Yeah,
you think about
we're
these
gonna go back, and maybe they'll have a room, some bedrooms ready for us, because I'd
so
like
you
to
think
move
about
in.
these things, and you think about the history that happened there in southern Missouri in the Civil War and all the land in the 15 acres. Take it away you
Mhm.
will, but who knows? Maybe Lincoln walked across that front yard. I mean, who knows who crossed that yard in a political alliance in the day and time of the 1860s? Generals,
Yeah.
we don't know the answer to that. So that's why the witness tree I thought was a good idea because of just all this history combined into one spot. So we
Mhm.
probably need to try it more in other places. I mean, I say we just keep trying to evolve it, see how it works, and see what goes. So if
I
anybody
think
out
it's
there wants an idea on how to do it, ask us. We will try to talk it to it. So.
I I think it's actually a good experiment, especially if you're in a location, which most locations are over 100 years old, because there's nothing stating that you couldn't actually do it like within the walls of like the location that you're at, or like by that marble fireplace or anything of the sort. Um, don't don't go telling everybody that we said President Lincoln was there because we don't know. And he even said we don't know. Sharon doesn't know. Like that
No,
that part of the history isn't out there. But it is a very cool piece to know that they were friends and
mhm,
that it possibly really actually could have happened.
correct.
So I don't know if Tanya's driving or if she's riding. She must just be riding. Oh, okay. Rick's actually driving. What?
Oh,
Ah. Um, anyway, maybe she'll uncommute herself soon and actually talk, but until she's ready for that, we'll just keep going. Um, so yeah, we did that for a little bit, and then after that, we decided to go into the cellar to do an initial um, session. Tim had his camera at the front of the cellar. I had a camera at the back of the cellar. Kathy, Misty, and I all had cameras. So we had like 5 cameras rolling in
Yeah.
this. Well, and Tim had one too. So what is that? 6 cameras
6.
Yeah.
rolling in
Yeah.
this cellar from all different directions. Okay. So like
mhm.
we could catch anything from any direction. Um, and there was some interesting things that happened while we were down there. Um, Tanya, who is a medium, actually started channeling. She had never channeled before ever, but she was channeling. It actually was quite cute. That was when we went live on Facebook. Um, because to listen to her voice
Mhm.
and everything as it changed as she was channeling, she really
Mhm.
actually did sound like a little kid. So that was actually pretty cool and interesting. Um, and this kid was laughing the whole time. His name was Benny, and he was 7. Oh, she's unmuted. I'll let her talk. Go ahead, talk about it.
He wore me out. That was a lot. uh, yeah, he was actually really, really fun. I've never channeled before, so it's kind of like really new, and the giggling and the bells and oh, good lord. But yeah, I had gone outside, and there's that tree that
Yep.
is laid down in the yard that's still there. You could see him running around the tree. I watched him run around the tree. And down in the basement, he was running circles, he was giggling, and he was having a blast. But he was 7. You had to let us know he was 7.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was 7. He was 7. Um, yeah, so that that was quite interesting. Tim had asked, "How old are you?" And Tanya said 7, and he goes 10, and he was like, Tanya goes 7, 7. Like get it right, dude, type of thing. It was so funny, how he interacted and was just like running all over. Um, Misty was having some things go on over on her side of the room. Uh, I will let her talk about it, the things that happened. Remember when we were listening to the EVPs on the way home, and it sounded like I had you guys listen to it, and it sounded something like, I want to go, or I want to go home, or whatever. It
Mhm.
was actually Misty saying, I want to bolt. And she moves forward in her chair and she points at the same time. I want to go bolt, like she wanted to run out that door.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was her that said it. But I will let her talk about what she was seeing. Um, and then Kathy can go talk about what she was seeing, because she was seeing some pretty cool things. I was sitting on the dope side of the room.
Oh, it was kind of a weird situation. I was hearing things more than anything. I honestly kind of gotta admit that it seemed like me and Tanya switched for the night, because she kind of had a different experience than I did, and I was so standoffish, and I kind of was in a bad mood all night, and I knew I wasn't mad at anybody there, but I knew I was being snappish, and I was like, that's not normally like me. I'm not usually like that. So I knew something was going on, but I mean, I was sitting in the corner while she was talking and Benny with my arms crossed, and I was just kind of like closing myself off to everybody and everything. And I kept hearing growls on the side, and I would ask people, do you hear that? But I don't know, my experience just wasn't like her experience. It's like literally last time I was the one with the mischief person, and now this time she was with a child. And I had a totally different experience, and it was more of a angry. I'm just angry the whole night, and I don't know. I wasn't even really angry, so I didn't understand it.
The one little thing, and then Kathy can go on. The one little thing that I want
Okay.
to say about Benny, he told us he was 7, um, and he kept talking about water. And when I brought it up to Sharon, because Sharon always likes to know how your investigation went when you got done. When you get done, she likes when you take the key back. She likes you to talk about what happened. So we were telling her that we had this interaction with Benny, this little 7-year-old boy, who said came across whatever, he was a slave boy, whatever, and that it was just a crazy interaction with him all night long. And she's like, I have no idea who Benny even is. We've never heard of Benny before, ever. So I think other entities might come and go out of that location. I don't know 100% for sure. I do know Misty kept asking about Jen. She
Yeah,
did ask that in her pendulum session and stuff, if Jenny was around, and she got the answer no, which is the entity she interacted with last time. So I don't
yeah.
know if Jenny was like, "Oh, I'll just let Benny have it tonight," or whatever. But no idea who Benny is. But he was very prominent during our investigation. All right, go ahead, Kathy. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're sitting across and we have the view, Misty and I have the view of the main archway where the staircase is that you come on down into the wine cellar. And, and I can hear kind of like the voices, a male voice. I can't really tell what they're saying, but there's voices and it's over to the right of us. And then at one point, we keep thinking there's movement in that doorway. And at one point, it does look darker. It lightens
Yeah.
up and it gets darker. And then Misty says, Kathy, keep an eye on that. And so we were both watching it, and there was a mist that came across. And then and then after that, like Misty kind of made a sound, and she says, "Oh, I'm kind of zoning out." I don't know if it was a yawn or a stretch or what. And right after that, there was a small orb that came from the right where I was facing, um, from over in the far corner. It comes across the archway, and it comes over and it kind of disappears near the chairs that Brenda's sitting in. It just kind of came across. And that was really interesting to catch, because we're down in that cellar, and when you're sitting and stuff, there's no real bugs down there. I mean, there's nothing really flying
Right.
around. The only time it gets kind of dusty is if you're up moving around. So yeah, it was really cool to see that.
I do that little insert that she was talking about that moan thing, or Misty kind of zoning out.
Yeah.
I do have a little clip of something that we caught that I'm going to play. If y'all can't hear it, please put on your headphones because it makes a big difference in the world. But we did catch this.
I laughed a little bit.
No, it was a moan from back over there.
Oh, it was okay. I don't know why I tagged that as a moan. But Kathy goes, I laughed a little bit. Misty goes, no, I heard a moan. And then right after that, you hear the word okay.
Mm-hmm. I laughed a little bit.
No, it was a moan from back over there.
You hear the
Yeah.
What was that? I think this is the one I thought was it, but it's not. So we'll do this one as well. And it's very low, but it's a female, and she hums twice. So if you guys again listen with headphones. And she just goes, Interesting. It was the only time we caught that in the cellar.
That's amazing.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
There's another one where I am talking, and then all of a sudden you hear thunks. We don't hear it. We're the type of investigators. If we actually hear a noise, we will, we'll call it out. We're like, did you hear that thunk? Or there was a thunk over there. We heard that voice, like we call it out. Or like if we get up and we make a noise, like we're like, oh, we're moving. Like we say that. But this is very pronounced, and it's right near me.
You did last time. It's crazy how that.
And it almost reminds me, like listening to it, it almost reminds me of what we actually hear up in the house that we'll talk about in a little bit when we get there. But that's what it actually sounded like. But it was from within the cellar where we were at. So, all right. Like I said, Tanya and I, we were sitting on the side where we didn't get much, except for a video that I'm going to show here in a little bit. But I'll let Tim talk about his experiences over in the cellar area.
Okay, so there for a while, we were trying to watch the arch doorway because we were seeing movement by the arch doorway quite a bit. We all were trying to capture what might be there as far as that goes. I didn't catch anything on I wish I'd caught some of my camcorders, but I didn't. But the thing, we was sitting there, and all of a sudden I did like Misty did. I kind of zoned out for a little bit, and I thought it was a long time. When Brenda went back and looked at the video, she said it was like 15 seconds, but I could have sworn it was a half hour. I was out of it. And I got this real bad headache, and I asked if someone was behind me, and Tanya goes, yeah, there's someone behind you. And then I got on our app on our phone, it said, I'm trying to scare you. So I dared it to scare me, so forth. But at the same time, Tanya and I saw our breaths. When we breathed out, we could see our breaths on that side of the room. I know Misty took out a device and tried to take the temp in the room, 45 degrees. Where we were sitting, 46 in the rest of it. But Tanya and I, every time we breathed out, we could see our breaths on that side of the room, literally see our breaths. So I asked everyone else to breathe out. They couldn't see it, but this went on for a long time. I'm talking 20 minutes or better. We could see our breaths back on that corner of that room. That was so, Tanya kept saying she could hear somebody behind her. I kept feeling somebody behind me. And so to me, that's interesting because how can we all be sitting in the same room with 1 degree temperature and only two of us actually see our breath? So why was it so cold right where we were? And why were we getting the feelings of someone standing beside us? Obviously, someone was there, which later on we did catch, which is pretty cool. So if you go there, try to see what you can replicate what happened to us with the breaths and with the noises and the shadows. I mean, the doorway was just active. There was just something, I don't know what it was, but if it was Benny, I don't know for sure who could have been out there. This building is very active. The basement is a very active place. I've been in a lot of places in my 14 years, and this is one of the most active places I've ever been in. I mean, I have EVPs mounting of stuff that I caught down there in that cellar, and we got more than just in this room. So what's happening in the cellar? What's going on down there? That the entities are still there. What's the purpose? And the noises above us, walking, talking, dumping, stepping around, happened the whole time we were there. No matter where we were in the basement, we could hear sounds above us in the first floor. So that was pretty interesting. I wish Tanya was on here so she could talk about it, but we kept hearing our breath. Other thing was I have a dead bell. I held this dead bell in my hand, right? So I asked questions and the dead bell's ringing in my hand. I mean, I've never had this happen. I hadn't had this dead bell very long, but I'm holding it in my hand and it's ringing a dead bell. And Brenda, she got one too. But we were asking Benny questions. We were asking Edmund questions. We were asking questions and the bell was ringing. Literally ding, 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 ding. I mean, I guess that was during the portal session, wasn't it? That was later on during the portal.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely a crazy experience. Tanya said her phone died, so she is on her husband's phone. So feel free to put anything in the comments, Tanya. We got awesome, and we got very excited to check it out. It definitely, definitely, it's not an expensive place to investigate, and it's definitely worth the money, for sure. I am trying. Misty, do you are you like on the screen? Can you look down and see where it says presenter invite? Do you have access to that? No.
I don't.
All right, hold on. Because I thought I had the video, but I didn't.
Yeah, I can do
Ding
the presenter invite.
Okay, ding was common sound during the Estes. Absolutely, we'll talk about that. Do you want to play the video of us in the cellar where we caught the shadow?
Have you got it? Is it in the media?
It is not.
Okay.
I was actually
Video
going
file?
to save it off of
Okay.
the. Hold on, you guys. Sorry. I literally thought that I had it saved to present, and I don't. So I apologize. But while we are doing that, who wants to talk? Kathy, talk about your Estes method?
Oh my goodness. Well, that was crazy. I never quite had I even took notes so I could. um, so I decided that I wanted to do my Estes in um, the room that has the boiler in it with the staircase. Staircase, I think, leads up into the main house to the kitchen there. And so I think that lower level might have been used for a summer kitchen. And so I'm in my Estes method, and it's crazy. It's all these voices coming at me at once. It's just an overload, and it's like they're all like stepping up and they're telling me their names. And like they just want me to know their names. Like I couldn't really hear, or I can't really remember. There was so much of it. I can't remember everything. I know that you guys, remember, certain parts of it that I probably don't. But they were just all coming up, and there was, I'm gonna say, I think he might have said Edmund, maybe was his name. There we go again with Edmund. But I had all these names, and I had old music playing, and I had some maybe piano. It was just crazy, and they were all like, wanting me to know their names, and some of them kept talking about water, and a portal. There's a portal, and the weird thing is that I could almost visualize what the gentleman looked like. Just that he had kind of like wavy hair, and more of an old fashioned type of haircut. Oops.
Sorry.
Okay. Are we gonna watch it first?
Okay. Sorry. No, go ahead. Continue talking. That was my
I
bad.
can't hear you. I lost
She
you.
said,
No,
"Go ahead."
continue
She said,
talking.
"Go ahead." Can you hear any of us?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
You might have to go out and come back in. Um,
Are you there?
Tanya said it definitely had a different vibe this town. This time that we were there. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when you're live. Things happen, and
Can't
sometimes you
hear
just
you.
gotta roll with the punches or go with the flow, as they say. But anyway, I did find that, or I did get that video. So I will do that here in a second.
You got it saved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But what she was saying with her Estes method is that there was a
Try
time where
putting that up on the screen.
she was like going like tisk 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 tisk, like in a scolding pattern,
Everything's on.
See what?
almost like in a scolding pattern,
Cut off.
like somebody was getting in trouble. She threw out a couple of phrases that are from the 50s, which is interesting because that kind of goes back to the owners that got it in the 50s. Yeah, she did get the name Edmund. When Tanya was doing her Estes, she got the name Edmund. And we interacted with him a little bit. And then I think when we were doing the portal session, we got the name Edmund again. So we got Edmund several times throughout the night.
Yeah.
Edmund was actually Henry
Maybe if
McPike's
I
brother.
leave.
And yeah, he was Henry McPike's brother. And that's who it was. All right. Kathy, can you hear us now?
Hey Tim, put that comment up. She can't see it, so if she sees it, maybe she'll know to get out and come back in.
Oh,
I got comments up. Okay. Yeah, I got it up.
yeah, sorry. I did it. So, all right. While she's doing that, let's do this video.
It says I'm happy to talk online.
And if you watch behind Tanya, there it was. I will play it again, but if you watch behind Tanya, you'll catch that shadow. It goes from Tanya over to me. Oh, it is playing, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Don't do that. I don't want that. Okay. My bad. All right. So I think that's played like a few times now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to communicate with us. It says I'm happy to talk online. Who's here?
There it went.
Yep.
It's such a cool piece that Misty caught
Sure.
on her camera. It would definitely be super cool to
I'm back.
she's back. It would definitely be super cool to get evidence like that on several different cameras. But
Right.
we're thankful and super lucky to get the one
Right.
uh, for sure.
Yeah.
And that was
That
a really good catch.
That is very hard to do. Very hard.
It is. It's
That was an excellent catch.
yeah, yeah. So kudos
Thankfully,
to
it
her,
just fed it in the right place.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah.
And
And
that's
her
about all
camera.
that's about all it is.
Well, I
Right?
got back on.
Can you hear us?
I can. Yeah. Can you hear me and
Good.
everything? It's
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
I don't know what happened.
We're good. We're good. So the other thing, God, do I want to put that out there? I don't want to be incriminating us if they see us, but
Hmm.
so the other little snippet that Misty caught was after Kathy did her Estes. And did you guys catch that? It dropped down. Sorry. So this is when she got done with her Estes method, and there's like a little ball that like drops down. And after that, she started feeling. She instantly got a headache and started feeling really sick.
Mhm.
I got a Mr. Thompson and a roof over here.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a really
I got a Mr. Thompson
another cool
and a
little piece that Misty was able to catch on her camera again because Misty is in the right spot always.
She's good. She.
Yeah. She's always
Yeah.
said since day one she would just love to be the camera lady. Like she will just do the
Mhm.
camera thing all the time. And
Yeah.
she's
Oh,
I might
I'm
have
just
to
really
have you do
shaky.
that then, be our camera lady. But I remember that, and I mean, the guy, I had a guy in there that just kept saying no to everybody and
yeah,
shaking
Oh,
his
yeah.
head and saying
yeah.
And
tisk tisk. And
yeah,
then
you were,
I don't know what else was being said, but I was so drained and shaky, and it
I
was crazy. Yeah.
I first time ever experiencing really somebody in an Estes method that says Tim,
Yes.
hi Kathy, and Brenda.
Yep.
I was like, what? Like
Yeah.
we've
And
heard like a name called out before. I think Malvern was the only other place we did where
Sure.
we got multiple names come through the
and
Estes, but not a
there
big
was
one.
a girl, and she was giggly. She was really bubbly, and she was giggly, and she kept telling me her name was like Christy, and and I wanted to say her name, but then that guy was like, no, no, and so I couldn't get her name out. Felt like it was stuck in my throat, and I don't know. He was like, I don't know if he was like ruling all these people or telling them they couldn't do stuff or what it was, but it was crazy. And yeah, and they were saying our names and hi Kathy. It's like, okay, hi. But yeah. And I don't know, Tim was talking about somebody was talking about kissing
Yeah,
girls.
yeah, you
Yeah,
did. You kept
yeah,
saying that. Yep.
yeah. And I think it was the guy, something about don't kiss the girls or something like
Yeah.
that.
And then
Yeah.
you would tisk them afterwards.
Yeah.
And they go
You did.
tisk tisk because he was tisking everything.
Yeah.
Every time somebody come up and he was like no and shaking his head no and tisking. I could
Mhm.
just visualize. It was the oddest thing, and I was drained. I was winded. It was like, man, like put me through something there.
Mhm.
But
They can
my
do it.
legs were shaking. I know I was squeezing my knee with my hand. And it was like got really intense. It was just a lot. Oh,
Sure.
Mhm.
yeah.
And after she got done with her Estes method, we went over to a different part of the cellar area, and Tanya did an Estes method in a totally different room. And that was interesting because of the things that not only Tanya was saying and the interactions that Tim was getting, but the stuff we were actually hearing in real time.
Right.
Yes.
Like the talking and stuff like that, plus stuff that we actually caught on the EVP stuff. I know Tim's got some things that he's going to share here in a few minutes. Um, it was funny because Tanya was going through and she was talking, and then Tim, I'll let you talk about asking about the dinging, but don't forget to talk about what Tanya was doing after the ding dings.
Mm.
So I was asking, so we figured out we were talking to Edmund, the McPike brother. After a while, we kind of got the information that's who we were speaking with. And so I asked about the girls. I asked about what was going on in the basement and um, Kathy's Estes session about kissing and stuff like that. And so we were getting real time responses. We were getting actual response about Edmund, and he would ding the bell once because we asked once for yes, twice for no. And then when the bell would ding, Kat or Tanya would go dang, and she would say dang, and I'm like, so we were all like, what? And then the bell would ring, and she'd go dang. So she was actually hearing the word ding in the Estes method as the bell was
Mhm.
ringing.
Yeah.
So it was an awesome Estes method. It really was. We were getting direct response. We were getting questions answered. So I asked Edmund, "Did you get one of the girls pregnant?" And the bell went ding, and then Tanya goes, "Absolutely not." That's a direct response. That is just direct response to what was going on in the room. And then we could start hearing walking and talking upstairs. And Misty goes, I keep hearing voices upstairs. I tried to listen. I go, yeah, I hear it. And we thought someone had broken the house because it was that loud upstairs.
Mhm.
The interesting part of it was getting direct response. That's almost impossible too. So we got a shadow in one room. Now we're getting direct response in another room. We're getting answers to Kathy's Estes method in another room, and it was all
Mhm.
tying together in this room down there. And this Benny was running around, and it was really a worthwhile Estes method. It really was. It's some of the best evidence I've ever seen. I caught
Hmm.
EVP in the room. I got a there. If you listen to the EVPs when Tanya was doing it, man, you hear it. Someone talking, you hear a girl laughing. It's really quite interesting. We have those if you want to hear them. I mean, we have them. So
Yep, this is from Kathy's Estes.
It's when you were come, I did that.
And you put it on there, Tim. I'm not sure, but again, listen with headphones.
yeah,
This is from Tanya.
getting it.
hearing full-on conversations above us. I heard that. That was female.
So when I said I heard that, that was actually female, and you guys can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to put your headphones on. It's clear.
Conversations above us. I heard that.
Right before the cough.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I actually have that on my video camera as well. That same little clip. So that is 2. We usually run multiple EVP recorders as well. I don't know if y'all have ever done that, but it's good to run multiple EVP recorders because one, if you guys end up getting the same thing on each one, that's validation. But
Sure.
sometimes you can get 4 different responses on the 4, like you don't get the same response on every recording. So we do like to do that, which is actually pretty.
And during Tanya's Estes, my chair shook. It felt like somebody was behind me and they shook my chair.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So it was intense. Tim had picked up his dead bell. He's holding it, and he's holding it like this. So he's not interfering with the light that's on it. He's not pressing it. He's not doing anything. He's sitting there and he's holding it like this. He's like, "Can you come ring the bell?" And all of a sudden it goes ding.
Yeah.
And that happened like several times throughout Tanya's
Correct.
Estes method. It was funny because she go ding, and then she goes, "Man, I hope that's right."
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm not sure why I'm saying it." She's like, "I'm hoping that is working or whatever." I actually got to the point where I was laughing because it was so funny because it would go ding and then she'd go ding, and
Yep.
it was just a funny interaction of how it was happening. When that was done, we went upstairs, but let's do this. Do we want to just go ahead and talk about our portal session that was in the cellar while we're in this area, or do we want to go upstairs and come back?
Yeah, we can do it. I mean, we did it later, but yeah, we can do it.
Okay. So Misty built us a little portal that she has tweaked, and it works really, really well. And she wanted to do a portal session. So we had brought it back down to the cellar. We were asking questions. We were also doing like EVP sessions at the time. I had my dead bell sitting on a plastic chair. When it originally started dinging, it was almost like it was broke. Like they were pushing on it, but it wasn't hard enough for it to actually ding. So it was making kind of like that clunky noise. And I said, "I think my bell is broken." And Misty's like, "Maybe because it's on the chair." So then I put it on the dirt floor and it was still doing it. So then I picked it up and I'm holding on to it. And my dead bell started ringing too while I'm holding it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to back up just a little bit. I'm going to let these guys talk about some of the things that came through the portal. I do have a creepy laugh that Misty caught and recorded. I will share that. That laugh is creepy as all get out, but we'll share that. We'll talk about what each one of us was going through. Talk about the K2 activity, because that K2 activity was insane. And, that kind of stuff, and then we'll come back to the dead bells.
Well, the portal was a lot better this time because I actually watched some videos where people were explaining how to tune them. So thank you all who have put out a video on how to use a portal correctly. Thank you. Besides that, we actually got it working pretty well, and it was answering back. Sometimes you could understand it would come out very clear, and sometimes it didn't come out very clear. But at the end of the night, we were still kind of conversing with Benny. and he was ringing the bells, going back and forth between them. And Tanya was trying to get him to calm down. And we were talking, and it seemed kind of presumably he was speaking a little bit through the portal, just from some of the answers. But at the end, we did hear a mommy, and then right after that is a laugh.
Good.
And it's like a childish laugh that Tanya was doing all night. So it was a bit creepy hearing it through the portal.
Correct.
And
Well, I picked up a laugh. It sounded like a lady laughing out loud. There was a point where we were down there and we were doing the portal box session. And let's see here, Misty asked something about is the portal in the kitchen. And soon after that, I picked up, I don't have it to share, but it was like a lady laughed out loud. And it was pretty loud, pretty clear.
Good. Good. So we were trying to get response at Benny. The bells were ringing a lot. They really were. But one thing I did catch, and I go back and I listened to it. I listened to it 2 or 3 times. I told Brenda when we were asking about there's supposedly this portal in the wine cellar, and then there's a portal in the kitchen, which I didn't realize there was one in there. Misty was asking about it, so we were trying to get definitive. Is one of the portals still open? And then we tried to figure out which it was. And if you listen to it, it's kind of hard to hear. But I believe Brenda asked, is the portal in the kitchen open? And I think the portal itself says yes right after you ask the question. Because there's a response. Is it open in the kitchen? And there's a response on that portal. And I believe it's a yes coming back on that portal, that there's a portal in the kitchen. I didn't realize there was one in the kitchen. I had no clue. I never went in the kitchen the whole time we were there. So that's interesting to learn because did you guys pick up on a portal the first time you were there in the kitchen? Is that something that
Yeah.
you done? Okay.
not in the kitchen.
I don't
Oh
remember.
no, the below.
Yeah, because
Okay.
when we were there the first time, most of the first floor was inaccessible. So we had like the gift shop room upstairs, and then we had outside, and we had the cellar. So this was the first time actually accessing the kitchen,
Okay.
and so yeah, did not know about that.
Okay.
Knew
Well, yeah.
knew
That
about
was
the
interesting
one.
to learn that there's portals in the house. So that's interesting to learn because where
Yeah.
did they come from? I mean, how did they get there? So I found that kind of interesting. But when you do ask that portal does respond. There's a response on it. So that's interesting to learn. Maybe
Mhm.
when we get back there, we need to go hang out in the kitchen for a while.
Yeah.
See
And
what
figure
happens.
out why they were talking about water too. So much
Right.
through the night,
Yeah.
they kept talking about water.
Yep. Yep. There was a lot of talking about water for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So at one point, Tim's holding his bell, I'm holding my bell, and all of a sudden, like one would ding, the other one would ding, and it literally like ding, 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 like
Mhm.
seconds from each other, and it did that like quite a while, just ding, 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 ding,
Mhm.
and it was very interesting. And I actually put my dead bell on my leg and left it, and I took my camera and I'm filming this dead bell sitting on my leg, just dinging like crazy. Tim ended up shutting his off, but I left mine on, and it was still dinging. The K2 meters, they were going crazy. Like we had 4 K2 meters on the floor. 2
Mhm.
were not doing anything. They stayed a solid green. The other 2 were pegging to red pretty much anytime we were in that cellar. It didn't matter what we were doing, but it was pegging red. And, it's a dirt floor and they were sitting spread out. Not really anything to interfere with them, but that it was a cool experience to see them going off as much as they were. Um, I know it was we haven't talked about it, but there is something there that isn't the nicest, I guess you would want to say. Um, and I think that was the one that we ran into last time because when we were there the first time, we actually had a chair straddling two other chairs with a grid light shining up on the wall. And Misty had saw a shadow run towards us, and then that chair fell off. Well, we tried to recreate it. We stacked chairs and waited for this thing to be knocked off, the chair to be knocked off, which didn't happen this time. Darn. Um, but we were informed that there was somebody there. They were trying to scare Tim because Tim is not easily scared by any means, and that kind of thing. And um, what I was gonna say to that is there was an instance where Misty had stood up out of her chair and was focused on the door, and she was telling Benny to come back. And she's like, Benny, just come back. Like, stay with us tonight. We'll protect you as much as we can. And at that point, Benny had popped out wherever he went, another realm, another plane, whatever. Um, but she had ended up walking over to the cellar door and she come back and she said, that thing's a nuisance. She goes, that's a problem. Um, so, keep that in mind if you go. Um, not, I'm not saying it's nasty. I'm not saying anything like that. Um,
Mm-mm.
you know, but something if something happens, don't discount it. Make sure you do talk to Sharon about it though,
Mhm.
especially if you feel that it wasn't a very nice interaction or whatever. Definitely make sure you talk to Sharon. That's why Sharon likes to stay informed and wants to know about all that stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, it was actually really cool. Let me play that laugh for you. That creepy laugh.
Went to one light. You just got what, Tim? That was him laughing. Oh my God.
I told you it's contagious.
And everything went to
Ooh.
one light. You just got what, Tim? That was him laughing. Oh my God.
I told you it's contagious.
See,
Crazy.
she did the laugh right
That was
after.
creepy. That gives me chills every time I hear
Yes.
that
I
now.
know, I know. Like it is just some strange things. So, you
Right.
know, highly active for
Yeah,
sure.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and he
yeah,
likes music with pianos.
yes,
mm-hmm.
yes,
Sure.
Yeah.
yes. Tim, why don't you talk about you and Tanya's experience out in the woods?
Yeah,
Um,
the woods. Because that's, deep, dark pravity of ghost hunting. That's where I go in the darkest places. So Tanya and I went out in the woods, and as we were walking, she kept saying, go left. And we kept walking left. Well, there's a couple trails out in the woods that will lead you back to a fallen tree. And one goes over to a monument. And I think another trail will take you on farther behind the house. So we walked down to where this tree was. As soon as we got about 10 foot from it, the air turned cold. I mean, literally cold. Our faces were cold, our hands were cold, and we're standing in the middle of this timber trees, and the wind starts blowing hard, and it is just literally cold. And so, as far as that goes, so hey, Tanya, we're talking about our experience down the woods. So we get down to this fallen tree, and we stop, and it's cold. I mean, our faces are cold, hands are colder still. So I set my digital recorder down on a tree and set a K2 meter down, and Tanya's standing on the other side. We were standing there, and I had my camcorder in my hand, and we were trying to look down into the woods to see if we could see anything. And it's dark out. There's street lights, cars going by, so it was rather noisy as far as that goes. But so we were standing and we trying to hear, and we hear a footstep behind us the path we just come down. Tanya goes, "Did you hear that?" And I go, "Yeah." When you turn around, she goes, "That's a child's footstep." I caught that on my recorder. I actually catch that sound on my recorder. But we were trying to figure out what was going on and see. Well, Tanya started seeing a few things out in the woods, and I'm going to let her talk about what she saw because she got my attention to it, and I saw it too after she got my attention. So it's an interesting little 10 minutes we were out in the woods. So
Just a moment.
We actually just got home, so I'm being followed by the mob,
Uh,
and they're a little wound because one of them has to go in the kennel now because she doesn't know to leave the kittens alone. So,
mm.
I don't know where to start on this wooded thing because that was insane.
it was.
Besides the fact that we were freezing to death because it was so cold.
Yeah.
When I say about 80 feet, I live in a 16 by 80 mobile home, so I go about judge the distance. If it's further than that, I'm like, it's further than 80 feet. Give stop. Down at the bottom of the ravine, the hill, I kept seeing something like a shadow was standing there. And stop. Why don't you go bug your dad? He likes you better. I saw when I was looking down in the bottom of the hill, and it was probably at least a good 100 feet away because it was, I saw what looked like a flint flick, like somebody was striking a flint trying to start a fire. And I saw it once and it was bright, but there was nothing there. But I did see a shadow down at the bottom of the hill. And then we saw movement. I saw movement all around in that area. So it wasn't just at the bottom of the hill. And then Echo, stop. She is wound. She can't mind. There she is. I'm going to take her as ghost bait next time. She'll intelligent life in that head. Yeah, there was just a lot of activity down in there. It wasn't really hearing anything. It was just seeing a whole lot of movement that wasn't, I knew it wasn't a deer because it was too odd of movement to be a deer. And I was pointing it out to Tim because I could see the movement at the bottom of the hill and then I could see movement closer up the hill. So it was like there were several shadows, for lack of knowing what they were, back in that area. But I'll let Tim tell about what he saw after I saw the flint.
Correct. So I was trying to look for this shadow. I was trying to pay attention down the hill. Over to my right, about 6 foot away, was another spark, like somebody was trying to strike flint. I mean, like 6 foot away. It was just a real quick flash of light. There's no lightning bugs out there. There's no birds. There's no nothing moving around. But I saw that flash over to the corner of my eye about 6 foot away. So we saw two of those while we were out there. Now realize that 15 acres of land and Native American, everything else out there. I think it was the way they were trying to communicate with Tanya and I that they were there. So we didn't catch any of that. I didn't get any of that on my camera. I didn't get anything on video. I wished I could have. Another thing is I got EVPs from our little excursion out in the woods. I got the thump of the footstep behind us. I tried, okay, I'm not a Bigfoot hunter, but I took a stick and hit a tree trying to get the reaction back to see if I get an action back. And we did get a couple of knocks back down there. I don't think there's Bigfoot, but anyway, I won't go on about it. But we did get reaction back that was happening. So we were getting responses. The shadows moving around, I saw them and Tanya pointed them out and so forth. And the flint sparks, I don't know. I can't explain. I'm like, Tanya, how do we explain these little sharp flicks of light in the middle of the woods somewhere that happens, as far as that goes? I do have one EVP and I don't have it downloaded on here, but I really want to get your answer on it, Tanya, because I really want you to listen to it because there's talking, but it's low talking. And I don't know if it's you because right after that happens, you say, I heard that. And literally, it sounds like someone talking in about 3 sentences in a row. Like, but when I hear it, I'm like, I want Tanya to hear it to see if it's her talking first before we had put anything out there, because it's low. It's a
When
woman talking, it's low talking. So
when you and I are together and we're talking, we talk clearly.
correct.
Talk not low, but we talk low enough that each of us could hear, but it would come up at a different tone if on the recording.
Correct. This
Yeah,
is literally this is literally a female talking. And then a few seconds later, there's a knock and you hear, hey, I heard that. So I need to get your response on it. Everybody's response. You listen to it and tell me what it is. Because I think someone was talking out there. I think someone was talking to us out there in the woods. So if you go to McPike and you don't mind going in the woods, please venture down there because I think you'll find something. We
Just
also
be
heard
careful of the drop off.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
watch out for the big old drop off at the edge.
Don't go. Yeah, be careful. Go out in the daylight first and walk around and make sure you know where you are before you go back in the dark. So
Hey,
yeah.
that was bad. I went down around that chain link fence to kind of go around and look at the property and got the bejeebies scared out of me by a deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did happen.
I
That
screamed
did.
off. So
She's
So
like,
if
I
we
got my
think-
jump scare in.
got
So if we
Yeah.
think, if you go back and think about Tanya saw and Benny running around out in the woods, out in the yard,
Yeah.
and so she saw that, and we're seeing shadows down there. I'm kind of curious what all. I wish we had more history of the property to know more about the 15 acres that McPike owned, so we get a little more clarity on what we're trying to find when we're down there. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if I'd have been dressed a little more appropriately for mushroom hunting, I'd have gone down the hill. But I was not dressed for mushroom hunting.
I see.
For real, for real. And then Misty had lost her little cover off of her microphone, so she went out to find it. And
You
while
pulled
she
a
was
Kathy?
yeah, while she was out there and she found it, she went to go catch up with Tim and Tanya. So I will let her explain her experience about being out in the woods.
So yeah, I lost the little fuzzy thing on my mic, so I went out to look for it because I figured it couldn't have been very far because I'm always dropping it. So I went back, retraced my steps. Right outside the cellar, I see it, grab it, and I hear some talking. I'm like, well, it has to be Tanya and Tim because I know they're out here, so I'll call Tim, just make sure it is them and not somebody else on the property that shouldn't be on the property. So I call out, they answer back, and I'm like, I start to hear them walking like towards me. I guess they're coming back because that was the end of that. And I'm like, okay, so who's up front and who's in back? Because I could hear their voices, and Tim distinctly sounded like he was in front, and she sounded like she was in the back. But I just wanted to make sure I wasn't hearing it weird. So I asked them who's in front, who's in back. They answered, and as they're coming around the corner, I see one person, two people, and a third person. And I'm like, hold up. Who's the third person? And I asked them, I said, but who's in between you then? And they're like, nobody. And I wish I had my camera turned to them, but I was looking for the mic cover and I sat it on the little wall and I didn't have it aimed at them because that would have been a really great catch if I had. But literally I just saw a flash of another person right in between them and I don't know who it was. And I didn't know anything about them hearing footsteps when they were out there themselves, so I had just walked out myself. And then they had me come over to them because they started filling stuff over there. So more stuff happened.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot! Why does it do that to me all the time?
I don't
I
know.
don't even want it up there yet. Lord have mercy. Sorry, guys.
We
I'm just
we
trying
kept,
to be prepared, and it instantly just throws it up there.
yeah, we
Um,
kept walking
Right.
through extremely cold spots.
Correct. We
Like
were.
frostbite cold. It was cold. We
Correct.
could see our breath. Then it was gone, and it was comfortable. And then
Correct.
when we down there, it's like, Misty, you've got to come over here because it is like ice cold over here. And she walks over, and she's like, it is cold. So I mean, it was like frigid cold.
Yeah.
Mm.
We kept experiencing that when we were out in the woods, and that was just
Correct.
crazy.
Correct. We kept trying to look for the third person, but never found him. So.
Yeah.
Kathy and I were in the cellar, so it wasn't neither one of us.
I think that was the cold spot standing in.
Probably.
Kathy and I were in the cellar.
Yep.
Hello, those of you just joining us. Say hi in the comments. I'm going to show a couple of pictures, and then we can go talk about our excursion upstairs in the McPike Mansion. Hold on. Misty took this picture, and as you can see, up above the window to the left, there is an orb.
Right.
We don't do a lot with orbs. Just when they're like specifically
Right.
distinctive, like in this case. And then if you look straight down from that, there's kind of like a wispy white mist. So like right across the caution things. I could do the whole point with my mouse thing, but I don't know if you guys actually see that or not. So that was actually a cool catch that she got. Again, she's our guru. She's really good at doing that.
Yep.
Go
And
ahead.
also mentioned that's where Kathy was doing her Estes session too. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. This one is from the cellar. I find it interesting because the little solid white
Yeah.
ball of light on the back wall moves in each picture. And it's noticeable that it moves in each picture. I might actually have the first and middle one mixed. It might have been the other way around, but that moves. So that's kind of a cool little thing. I didn't realize it looking through the pictures until I really was looking. And then I'm like, wait, that little thing moves. That's crazy.
Not to interrupt, but I
Yeah.
got some of those around Tim down there too. They were floating and moving, and I kept watching them on my video because I was like, is it a reflection? What is that? But there's no way because of how they moved and where they moved. And then I think there's like a small orb. Well, there is a small orb down by Tim's foot, and we are in the wine cellar. So, and I have those photos and
Cool.
on camera on.
Cool.
Yeah. I just wasn't able to get them over to you because my few days here of my beginning of the week has been kind of up and down. So.
Hectic and busy. Yeah, no worries. We'll get it done.
Yeah.
This one I took in the cellar, in the very bottom, down on the little right hand corner. There is a white misty smudge. I can't say what it is because I don't know. Maybe you guys know, but it is not in the other two pictures, which is interesting enough. And then one more. Misty wants to know if anybody can explain this. She took this when we first got to McPike. And this was when she had not moved from in front of the truck,
Right.
like she was there. So if you look at that tree and you look down at the ground, you see the shadow of the tree on the ground from the sunlight. But there's kind of like a white misty thing through it.
Mhm.
we've tried to debunk it, saying, oh, it's the ground showing through or
Right.
whatever. But if you really zoom in on it and look, it is white and it is wispy.
Mhm.
So we're trying to figure out how that could happen, not being a not being casted by a shadow on the backside of the tree.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any thoughts, you could put that in the comments. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because the sunlight's on the other side of the tree. So
Correct.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Correct. So, pretty interesting. Again, do not discount this location from anything. Take pictures everywhere.
Yeah.
For real. I think that is it for that part of it. So we will go inside because y'all have been hanging with us for a really long time. But we appreciate it. It's a lot to talk about. So, like when we do these months down the road, we may not remember everything where this is like super fresh in our minds. So, we went upstairs. We sent Tim to the top of the stairs. Didn't go past, did not go past the top of the stairs. Video the whole time he's on the stairs. We got proof because upstairs is unsafe. But we knew we could, like hang out at the top of the stairs and it would be good. So we're going to talk about that. He was at the top of the stairs. Misty and Tanya was like in the dining room back by the kitchen. And
Yeah.
Kathy and I were in the front of the house by
Mhm.
in the gift shop. So we were in different sections of the house when all of this stuff. Tim started out. We all did Estes sessions, and Tim started out. He ran through his series of questions. Then it's Kathy and I, and then it's Tanya and Misty. Um, so with that, I'll let Tim take it away. When you're ready to play those EVPs, just hit the play button, and
Okay.
they will play.
Okay.
Because you'll know when you want to actually play those.
Yeah, will do. So I got top of the stairs. So this building's interesting. I wish you could get to more of the floor, but the floor is really tore apart. So please do not go up there. Please do not roam around the second floor. So I sat down. I turned on my dead bell. I turned on a digital recorder at a K2 meter, and I had my camcorder in my hand. So I started asking questions about if one of the McPikes are there, any of the women are there, the daughters, anyone was there to answer my questions. So I started hearing noises like footsteps or banging. And so I know the wind blows and stuff bangs against the house or something's loose and you hear that banging noise. But this is repetitive banging. This is the same beat every time. And everybody in the building is hearing this same repetitive sound throughout.
Oh, he froze.
Oh no.
Because everybody, same time I was, as far
You
as that
froze,
goes.
Tim.
So that part was cool. What's that?
You froze.
Oh, sorry. Where did I freeze at? Anyway, so I
You
see
were hearing the repetitive bangings.
okay, hearing repetitive banging, but it was the same repetitive noise each time. It wasn't like bang bang and bang 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 bang. It was the same repetitive knocking sound. And then I started hearing footsteps. There's a set of stairs in front of me goes up to the top of the building. I could hear footsteps in there as well. I could hear footsteps of someone walking behind me on a floor that's not there. So this is all happening. But so I will see which one of these do I want to play. I think the man's name was Lindquist who owned this house after the McPike until like 1954. I hear you. Can you do that again? So I can hear you. It's kind of hard to hear, but you hear the dunk 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 just repetitive every time I ask the question. Put your headphones on and listen because it's really cool. Then you start hearing footsteps walking toward me, and I asked the person if they can come toward me and get closer or whatever. And my focus was in the second floor, trying to get my night vision, my eyes to focus to the dark, covering up all light so I could actually see what was going on. And so that went on for quite a while. And back and forth, I kept asking questions. I kept getting noises, everybody in the building was hearing noises throughout the building, which was an interesting thing as far as that goes. So then I stopped asking questions. And so I said, okay, I'm done. So I said, hey, I'm done asking questions. So Brenda and Kathy started asking questions. Then it goes to Tanya and Misty started asking questions. So when we get down to where Tanya and Misty, what they say they heard, I got another EVP I want to play so that we can hear what they heard. So go ahead.
Yeah. Some other things that are really cool when Tim, I had a camera at the bottom of the stairs aimed up filming him, and there was a couple of different instances where an orb like comes down from the ceiling and either goes right by him or like through him, and then it comes out and it veers across the stairs towards the gift shop. There's another where there's an orb traveling across the top of the ceiling from like the dining room towards the front, and when it gets up by the gift shop it actually splits off into two. So I don't know if it's like two coming together and then they split off, or if it's one splitting into two. It's very hard to decipher which one that is. Those videos are actually out on our page. There's also some light fluctuation. Tim and I had talked about it. But if anybody else has any ideas on light fluctuation from the IR lights or the camera, whatever, please feel free to do that in a nice manner. Don't be rude. With that being out there, that's pretty cool. I do actually have a clip of the knocks as well, a video clip. So
After the McPike till like 1954. I hear you. Can you do that again? I can hear you knocking. Are you trying to communicate with me? Yeah. Yes. I can hear you. Can you do that again? Thank you. Can you?
So pretty interesting in that it's actually caught on two different devices. That's validation, which makes it an even better catch,
Sure.
which is really cool. And like I said, Kathy and I heard it in the front. I honestly thought it was something hitting the window. Tim caught it at the top of the stairs. Misty and Tanya were hearing it in the kitchen or back by the kitchen. So we were hearing it in different places throughout the house. When Kathy and I were doing our little part of the Estes session, and she was sitting in a chair, I was sitting in a chair, and there was a chair in between us, and all of a sudden there is a thunk, and it was in between us, and I'm like, oh, are you right here? Which was interesting. And then we heard a tap behind us, and that was about it for us. Is there anything that you remember?
Just the tapping. There was like the way our chairs were set, the corner of the room was kind of like behind us, and there was, some constant tapping. It would stop and it would start, and we thought maybe it was something from outside blowing against the house, but it wasn't. It was what everybody else was hearing. And because I think we debunked that. We went outside, or Tim went to look, and yeah, it was.
She did have decorations hanging on the window, but they are like paper thin, and they're not enough. They're not
Not-
heavy enough to make the noise that we were
yeah,
actually.
it was like knock, 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 and
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
something was wanting our attention.
Yeah.
So
I'll let Tanya go ahead and talk about hers, so then you can go back into that other EVP. So Tanya, make sure you hit on the part about where you heard the crying. In a minute, Misty, you can actually start on that if you want.
Okay. Um, During Tim's thing, I started hearing talking up there. Um, it sounded like somebody was having a conversation either above us and in the kitchen, and then we heard tap 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 of a woman's shoe. It sounded really sharp, and I know Tanya made a point of saying it was like sharp, like a woman really tapping out her annoyance on the floorboards and stuff, and we were hearing that, and then she was hearing crackling from a fire, and I realized when she said that there was a fireplace right next to us, which I hadn't even realized. I kept hearing stuff, but I was like, I didn't even realize that was what I was hearing. So, like I said, that's pretty much when we heard the talking, and that was a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Can Tanya talk? I don't know. You heard the screaming, I did, or crying,
Yeah, it was like a baby. It was an infant,
right?
not a newborn, but an infant. It had to be 3-4 month old. Yeah, I got experience with crying babies, trust me. Yeah, I heard crying, and it was around the time that we heard the footsteps on a mission.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mad woman on a mission, is what those footsteps reminded me of. And it's like, oh, but I'm not on the receiving end of that lady. But yeah, I heard the baby crying. Would you give me a minute? She's being a brat.
So I got an EVP here, and I'll see if we can hear it. So when you guys were talking about hearing the footsteps, you were hearing the footsteps, a woman walking. I actually caught him walking behind me. We'll see if it's loud enough to play. If not, please use your headphones.
You're hearing footsteps, like hard-soled shoes. From upstairs on hardwood floors. And from the looks of the floor, okay.
Yeah, they're up here walking around behind me up here.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could hear like hardwood soles. It wasn't the heavy stomp of a man. It was more feminine walking. It was a sharp tap of a woman walking across the floor. A woman on a mission.
And so right before you hear me say, I can hear him up here walking around after you say that. You first hard tap, tap, tap. And before I talk, you actually hear the footsteps walking up there. You hear tap, tap. You hear the walking that I heard behind me. So while we were reviewing that, I went through and I'm like, oh crap, there it is. Because I turned around with my camcorder and stuck it behind me to see if I could see something walking in the room. So please listen to that, because you can actually hear them footsteps going across that floor while you're talking about it. So that was really a cool kit. So I hope they get the second floor done, because I'd love to spend some time up there. I think it'd be awesome. I really do.
Well, I know the crazy thing was is when I was hearing the footsteps and Misty and I were down in the dining area, we look up and there's no floor.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because we heard the woman on a footsteps, because it was distinctly a woman.
Right.
You can tell by the weight, and but we look up, and where there were footsteps, there was
No floor.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
It didn't make any sense at all.
I could hear him. Yeah.
They were there.
Good. And I could hear him walking behind me while you guys were, I could hear him walking around back there. I can't get in that part of the building, but I wish I could have, because that was pretty cool. I mean, So we all experienced the same thing at the same time in this building, which it's going to echo because it's pretty empty in the first place and it's all pretty much open from the second floor. So
Mhm.
when there's 6 of us, five, sorry, got to count. When there's 5 of us in the building at the same time, we're all, well, I'm getting old. When there's 5 of us in the building at the same time, we're all hearing the same thing at the same time and we're catching it on our equipment. That's what ghost hunting's about. That just dead on perfect. That
Mhm.
can't get any better than that. So I wish we could spend 12 hours in McPike because I think we would catch so much evidence it would be astounding. I really do. So
I don't know why my mic just muted, but okay,
Yeah.
something didn't want me to talk. But when you were up on the stairs, was that noise louder for you? Did
yes,
it sound? It was loud.
it was
So
loud. I could hear the footsteps and the knocking in front of me where the on the second floor where the other stairs went up, and then behind me, I could hear the footsteps going across the floor behind me just clear as the day. It's like someone was actually walking up behind me in that room with no floor in it.
because
So yeah.
for Kathy and I, it sounded like it was in the corner up above us,
Yep.
behind us, but it was distant.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
What about you and Misty, you and Tanya? Was it louder for you guys? Or was
I
it
thought it was, it kind of seemed like it would have came from like the kitchen area above and walked like through the house. Like if there was a hallway to the stairs. I don't know how the upstairs looked like at all, so I don't know, but it just seemed like it came from above us, like but behind us and walked through the house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
And
like
then
over us.
yeah, it went right over us. And that's why I looked up and I know Tanya looked up as well and we were like,
Yeah.
that was weird.
And
there's
so the
Definitely
sound,
not being there.
yeah. So the sound I heard, the footsteps I heard, that's in at the top of the stairs. There's a doorway to my right. There's a doorway across the hall to my left. To my right is another doorway. In between those 2 doorways, another doorway going to another room. So there's like 5 big rooms upstairs on that second floor. So to my left, where I was sitting, where you guys heard it, that's where I heard it walking toward me on the same side you guys were sitting on, above you. I heard the same thing walking toward me on that side of the building, right above you. So I heard that footsteps coming up there. So that you know what that's
Mhm.
why we ghost hunt because that was just awesome. That building is alive. It truly is alive.
There was so much that happened.
Right.
Mhm.
Me having to pick up the basement when we got there because it was a mess.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
yeah. Tanya got scolded and she had to clean it up,
Yeah.
get the lampshade back.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And I wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to stop until I threw it in the garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. She literally had to take empty containers out all the way out to the garbage can and throw them away.
Yep.
Before, before she did her job complete. It was crazy.
Oh no,
Yeah.
she had to do one more thing. She had to make sure the lamp cover was back.
Yep. She had to put the lampshade.
When we
Right.
went upstairs.
Yeah. When she went by me in the basement, I looked at her and she goes, "Don't ask." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, just don't
Yeah.
ask.
Because it was inappropriate for that light to not have the cover on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lydia is very much a predominant figure in that house. Lydia was Henry's mom. Mary was his wife. But Lydia is very much there. Even if you ask the other spirits questions, they will tell you about Lydia. So she's definitely there. I think that's probably who Tanya and Misty were hearing and Tim was hearing. was hearing was Lydia walking around. And I think when we were in the cellar and we kept hearing the female, um, I'm pretty sure, I feel it was Lydia just because of that. Tanya had also asked us several days before we went on this investigation if we were actually smelling like wood burning smoke, like from a wood burning stove. And we were like, nope, can't say that we had. But
We were under a burn ban too, so we couldn't have.
correct.
Good.
Interestingly enough, though, we're at the back of the house, getting ready to go walk down into the cellar, and I'm like, "Do y'all smell that? We're outside." And I'm like, "What is that?" And she goes, "That's exactly what I've been smelling all week, which is a wood stove burning wood." And it was just so weird that she had experienced it all week. And then once we got there, we experienced it. I'm not saying that's paranormal because there was probably somebody that had a wood burning stove that was
Yeah.
burning. But just the coincidence of it
Yeah.
makes it
Sure.
interesting for
Mhm.
sure. For sure. Is there anything else that we did not discuss? That happened during our investigation at McPike Mansion.
I don't think so.
I think that covered it. Yeah.
We think we hit it.
That was a
Mhm.
lot.
It definitely was a lot. Tanya, are
Mhm.
you there? We can't see you, but you're unmuted. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
No.
So
Uh,
don't forget.
I got when I got beat up when we first got there. That was crazy.
We
Yeah.
talked about that at the
Yeah, we
beginning.
did.
Yep. We
Yeah.
talked about that before you left.
So, but yeah, there was a lot that happened. Just a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Completely different from the first time we were there.
Definitely. I cannot, and I have not said it enough throughout this investigation. If you get a chance to go to McPike Mansion in Alton, Illinois, you need to get a hold of Sharon. You need to book it. You need to go because um,
Good.
you will not be disappointed at all. Hang out in the cellar, um, hang out upstairs. It's it's very much an active place for sure. And
Sure.
we definitely will be putting it on our list to go back again. Um, Again, they're doing renovations, so everything is getting done a little bit at a time. Hopefully, maybe when we go back again, they will have the upstairs floors done. I know
Good.
they just got the floor completed above the kitchen today or in the last couple of days. So, hopefully they'll have more of it done where we will be able to actually go upstairs in some of those other areas of the house. So
Yeah.
that'll be really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sunday night, April 12th, we have Kate with the Spirits of Marco. Make sure you guys are joining us. I think Tanya is going to join us on that podcast as well, Mr. Tim. But
I'll
make
be
sure
there.
you guys tune in for that. Again, it's our first location location on the podcast, so it'll be good to learn all about her and her spookies.
Cool.
Friday night, our Aurora brothel investigation from October 2025 will drop on YouTube. We will be back at Aurora brothel on Saturday for our second investigation there. We do plan on going live. So make sure that you guys tune in. I think we're going to actually try to go live from YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. I can't guarantee we'll do all three, but we're going to try. They might all be at the same time, so it might be the same part of the investigation. We'll see. But we will try to get more out there. Cheryl, thank you so much. She said it was a great podcast. That's Misty's mom, in case those of
Yeah.
you that didn't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining in and hanging out. But other than that, we will catch you guys this weekend while we are out and about investigating for more ghosties with the mosties. Thanks so much for joining, you guys. Have a good night.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.
Want to go?